Employee retention is a significant challenge for many industries, but particularly so for the hospitality industry. There are a number of factors that contribute to this challenge. Many of them are similar across markets and locations, but there are a lot of differences. So we're going to hear some insights from 3 industry professionals today about the challenge of employee retention in the hospitality industry and some of the solutions that they have been pursuing to address this challenge. With us, we have Alan Mohmeyer from New York City, we have Heather Jacobs from Dubai, and Regan Taikitadaporn from Hong Kong. Alan, would you please give us some of your insights about this particular challenge?
I think the number one issue, Bruce, is that a lot of people enter the industry looking for a job, not for a career. And it falls upon the employer to make sure that they turn it into a career for the person so that the person begins to think long-term, that there is a future in it. It's not just a paycheck. And the kind of things that you do, and I'm sure we'll talk about them throughout this conversation, are the things like professional training that makes somebody better at what they do. When somebody starts to master a job, they want to stay in that job. It becomes more than just a paycheck for them.
Indeed.
Tagging on to that, I couldn't agree more with what Alan's saying. I think that the hospitality has in general been a very transient industry. I think for when we look at things, we look at both early retention, so early on in somebody's career. So I think the earlier on that you can start to develop those skills that Alan is referring to, the better off, because then you start to create a much longer relationship with the individual, and then it becomes a much better service, which ultimately is what we are providing from a client standpoint.
And I think in addition to what Alan and Heather shared, I think in Asia, we are a growing market. And as such, there's a lot of competition out there. So there's a lot of new hotels that are being built that are coming up. And basically, it's a supply and demand issue. There's a lot of new hotels, but the supply of skilled or experienced labor is limited. So there's a lot of competition for talent that really helps increase our turnover of hotels. I think in Asia, the other factor is the perception of the service industry, and there's that perception that working in the service environment is not prestigious. So you have, even though the individual, the graduate from college may want to work in the hospitality industry, they get a lot of pressure from whether it's family or peers or friends to go into other industries that are perceived as being more prestigious, whether it's working for the government, whether it's working in the finance industry, or working as in the teaching profession.
That makes me think, Regan, that it's worth noting that not all turnover is bad either. I mean, the entire goal isn't always retention. We study why people leave us, and they leave us for good reasons in many cases. They leave us because they've finished getting their degree. They've been studying at night. We've been helping them go to college, and they're getting a job in their chosen profession, or they're returning to their country of origin, or some other good reason. Debbie Brown at Four Seasons did something with her ex-employees that I thought was a brilliant idea, and we started to do it at Lowe's as well, and that is that they formed a group, a Facebook group of people that left them, and they're constantly communicating with their ex-employees, because the message that you want to send out to them is, it's not just one time around. You might be coming back this way, and we would love to have you back.
Yep, absolutely. And people leave, for example, for family reasons. Their family's moving to another city or another part of the country. And, in some of our markets, for example, in China, in the big cities, in Shenzhen, in Shanghai, and Beijing, a lot of the people working there are what we call migrant workers. So they've come in from the more remote parts of the country into the big cities to work. And they'll come in, work for a couple of years, save up enough money, and then, because of the one-child policy, they have to go back and take care of their aging parents. And so, they'll at some point save up enough money and, head back home. And we do something similar where we try to stay in touch with them, because at some point we're going to be opening a hotel near their hometown, and hopefully they're going to come back and work for us. So, staying in touch with these people, and especially today with social media, it's actually very easy to stay in touch with them, and continuing to keep them engaged with what's going on with the company, I think has been a great way of getting some of these people back to work for us.